Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about the UK. We're going to talk about the United Kingdom and something they are considering, something they have put on the table, haven't agreed to yet, and that's an important distinction, but something that they have put on the table to consider. And why it is a huge, huge signal. And it's probably going to be ignored by all of the people who need to pay attention to it, to be honest. Okay, so if you've missed it, we have been talking a whole lot about what it would take to achieve peace when it comes to the Israeli Palestinian situation. Peace, not a ceasefire. Please keep in mind everything you have seen over the last couple of months occurred after the ceasefire, the last one. Peace is a little bit of a more substantial goal. That's going to take three things. There are three critical ingredients that must be there for peace to occur. The first is a multinational force willing to stand between the two sides. The second is a Palestinian state or a viable pathway to one. The third is a whole bunch of aid flowing into that new Palestinian state. Incidentally, that aid would be administered by the new state, not an international organization, because that would undermine the new state. Okay, so if you wanted to signal to Israel that this was the way the world was headed, how might you do that? I mean, one way would be, the United States just coming out and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Not going to happen because the U.S. is playing the good cop right now. So you need a different world power, one that has a lot of sway, to indicate, hey, maybe we just decide to recognize a Palestinian state. The Foreign Office of the United Kingdom has now said that's on the table, and that it would be, quote, irreversible. A lot of people are going to ignore this because they're going to see it as the UK hanging like candy out and saying, oh, Palestinians, stop fighting and you'll get this. No. A, the UK doesn't believe the Palestinians are going to fall for that. B, that's not who the message is to. It's to Israel. It's a reminder that if they don't approach peace in good faith, that the world powers actually do have the power to dictate peace to them. Recognizing Palestine would be a huge step in that direction. The other thing to keep in mind is there is no way that this is some off-the-cuff remark. If they start to try to walk it back later, it wasn't. This was thought out. Nobody accidentally says, oh, well, maybe we'll recognize a new country. This was talked about. And it wasn't just talked about within the United Kingdom. My guess is other countries, France would be one, have already said that they would follow on. Again, the U.S. wouldn't be a part of this because the U.S. is playing good cop right now. But I think it is incredibly unlikely that the UK would just come out and say this without talking to the U.S. about it first. So the U.S. is probably on board with it. But right now would not say that. All of this, Israel probably picked up within the first few seconds of this being said. It is a huge signal. So, it's worth remembering that when you are talking about this situation, you don't want to hang your hopes on an entity that has no power. The ICJ cannot enforce anything. The countries that seem to be behind this, they can. They have a lot more power. They could even use the UN Security Council to do it. Now, people are going to immediately want to know the details. There aren't any at this point. Realistically, this is signaling. This is, hey, you better approach this in good faith because there are other options. So there probably is not a plan. So nobody start flooding the comments with questions about, well, by what borders would they be? Nobody knows yet. It's not there yet. This is pressure on Israel. It's a signal to them. So it does appear that things are headed in that direction. Now, they still have to get the multinational force and the aid. They look like they're lining some of this up, and they're putting the pieces in place. And then there are obviously going to be other considerations. But those are the three things that have to be there for it to work. So if you are hoping for long-term peace, please rest your hopes on something like this, not on some miracle coming from the ICJ, an entity that has the international power of a Twitter poll. They can't stop this. Israel can say Hague Schmeg and be right. They can't say UN Security Council Schmeg. It doesn't even rhyme. This is a big step. Don't overlook it. Even the signal is bigger than anything else that has occurred thus far. Just the signal. Forget about the possibility of them actually doing it. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.